All right. What's up, folks? Today is August the 12th, 2024. And once I get a mic check, then I'll go ahead and get started. Again, I don't trust myself anymore without doing any mic checks. So we're going to get this mic check going on, and then we'll get to the meat and potatoes. All right, I think we're good to go. Okay, so today I really didn't do much trading today. Well, I didn't do any trading today, but I did let my script run the strat bid bus. This is one that, and I still need to make a few more modifications. I think I actually want to go back to, if you followed the video before, you saw that I changed it so that I was only taking longs above the 200 period moving average. But I think I need to just remove that extra modifier, the extra filter, and just go ahead and take everything. And then it'll just exit if it's a loss. But this is what the P&L looked like. So the day started off where I had an opening balance around 99,290, something like that. And then the first trade or so put me down a little bit. The second trade put me up. And then I started going down. And then by the end of the day, we were below our opening, balance. Okay, so we were $449 below the opening balance. So, and again, that's with the strat bid bus. But if we look at some of the trades that it was taking, it looks something like this. Let's go back to strategy turned on about 9:45 or so. So there, took a loss on the same bar. That doesn't make sense. This first one doesn't make sense. This second one doesn't make sense. This third one definitely makes sense. These two make sense. This could make sense. This is a reasonable amount. But those first two trades, hardly had any range on them. I doubt they're right. These look right. These look right. But again, you see, right? So where I exit at, there's not that much more range before it moves and goes in the opposite direction. So I've got something. I've just got to figure out. How to modify it to stay. Look at that. Look at that. Would you look at it? Shout out to Ed. God almighty. All right. So you can't even see what I'm showing here. All right. Let's start all over. Okay. So essentially this is what I was showing you. I'm not a videographer or anything like that, so you have to forgive my poor awareness when it comes to keeping you guys in the loop, or keeping the mic on and all that kind of stuff. All right, so this is what happened. Like I said, the P&L was right here at the opening balance to start off with. We were around 99,285, and then we had a loss here the first trade or two, and then we had a couple good trades put us up, and then we started having some losing trades, and ultimately we were minus for the day. Minus what, you ask? Minus 449 for the day. And this is what I was showing you, that these are just the trades that were taken, and these first trades here did not even move the margin. So something's wrong with those first two trades that entered, that one and that one. There's something wrong with that, I do believe. Okay, so this is next trade, perfect. Next trade, perfect. All right, and then these trades, you see how much range we had here from where I exited to the turnaround period, the turnaround point right there. Okay, and same thing here where I exited to the point of reversal right there. Same thing. I mean, I'm just within a slither, within a margin of getting out at the wrong time. If I just waited a little bit longer. And you know, I don't know. I think what I might ought to do is go ahead and put a little bit more range on there, and then as the chart starts moving up so far, so many bars beyond the opening bar or price, then I go ahead and move my exit up to break even, and or somewhere just over the break even. I think that's what I ought to do. Excuse me, it is 10:27, guys, and I'm doing this video for you. I'm doing this video for you, not really for you, it's for me. Okay, but it's for you, for me, for you, for me. All right, so let's put together a quick indicator. This indicator here will be to be able to delete your rectangle at the click of a button. Okay, so we're gonna call this YT delete rectangle. Okay, and yes, I have been practicing. I've been working on my craft and everything like that. So that way I don't hop on here and then we just figuring out, we're just struggling together, you know, for the entirety of the video. So we don't necessarily want to do that. So hopefully I should be able to run through this pretty quickly. All right, and so for anybody who's interested, these are what the market metrics show me for the course of the day. I didn't see anything that really stood out to me. All right, so here is, like I said, a couple days worth of data. Here is around 950, 945, something like that. All right, what happened here? 937, right at 937, what happened? You had a wide spread of about 1.45, and that's points, right? So at this point here, at this point on the chart, what happened when you got that really wide spread? Well, it couldn't hold that support anymore, right? And so it dropped, and once it dropped through that range with that wide spread, it dropped. All right, but what I'm trying to figure out is, when do we get the signal to move back up? Is it this, the high amount of ask, which means the high amount of ask side, top side market pressure, the high amount of ask interest? Is it this spike here, which is our indication that we're moving up? Maybe. All right, and then do we get, when we come back down here, the second drop of the day, right? So it's easier if you look at the 5-minute time frame or the 1-minute time frame. All right, so this is market open here, coming up, and then you had that one huge drop. But I mean, essentially it dropped to that previous step, right? The previous stage. So it didn't really do anything super bizarre, because it never made it above this step to want to come back down, you know, to this step. So so that wasn't really that bizarre, actually. All right, but you go back out, go out. All right, and then when you come back into that area there where it did retrace down to, what is happening there? Looking for something. A high amount of market interest kicked in here, but I mean, that's pretty obvious, because since it dropped below that level, the entire market is watching at that point, right? So yes, we got this in here. But But at what point is it time to actually consider that we're reversing going long? Maybe with that high amount of ask again. Remember, it did that earlier. Did that earlier right here. Okay. All right. Try to look at some of this stuff throughout the day, but I don't get too hung up on it. But anyway, let's go ahead and do the script for the day. All right. We're gonna come over here. Return off trial delete. That was essentially what I was working on. All right, let's see how quickly we can put this together. And not all of the stuff that I do is for the sake of making superb scripts. Some of it is just to have a better understanding of programming, of syntax, of logic, of programming in general, right? So once I get that down, I can do whatever it is I want to do. So what I want to be able to do is if I draw a rectangle or something like that, draw a rectangle here, I just want to be able to click this. So if you click it, you can click it and hold it and move it, right? Or you can click it and then you can hold on to one of these points, one of these end or beginning points, one of these handles, and you can move it around. Okay, what I want to do is if I click on this object, I want it to delete. Okay, you got a bunch of rectangles on here, got them all over the place. Y'all know me, I like to see a lot of stuff on the chart. Okay, so if you click on something, you want it to delete. Okay, so we need to use something on the chart that recognizes a click. There is something with drawing objects that recognizes a click. So I'm just gonna make this a little bit larger so you can see what's going on there. All right, so if you go over to the dictionary, you type click right here. Okay, and then you go down to drawing objects. Would it help if I had to clean these glasses? I feel like they're twisted. Okay. All right. Drawing objects, and this is going to be an event. It's going to be an event handler, so it'll look like one of these lightning bolts here. Drawing objects. Where you at? Okay, right here. Drawing objects. Drawing object click. It's going to say this occurs when the drawing object is clicked. Right. So any drawing object that you put on the screen, whether or not it's made from an analysis technique or if you make it from just drawing an object, it'll come up in here. It'll be a drawing object. It is clicked. Okay, and it's got to be my whatever the object is plus equals your next method, and then your method arguments is going to have a sender and it's going to have arguments. Okay, so again, I was playing around with this for about 6 hours. Okay, about 6 hours, and I still had a tough time, so I ended up enlisting the help of the software engineers, if you will, on the TradeStation forum, so they were able to help me out. All right, let's try this. So let's using EOS system. You got to use drawing and drawing objects because you need to call on the rectangles. Okay. And I think I did have one called rectangle. I'm just gonna have to figure this out as I go. I mean, it's not like I have it pre-written and I'm just giving it to you pre-written. All right, so when we click on a rectangle, when we click on an object, we need to have a method for that. We'll just call that method void rect clicked. And then, so when we click on the object, it'll look like this. Copy, paste, and then this is your method, begin, end. Okay, so now when you click on the object is the sender, and then the So in order to do that, we're going to have a variable, and it's going to be called drawing object. We'll call it rect. We'll call it do rect, drawing object rect. Okay, and then that's how you declare that. And then we'll say do rect is equal to the sender, because the sender is the one that got clicked on. So remember here, the drawing object is clicked. That drawing object is the object, and it gets clicked, and so then it sends information by method of this event handler here. So this object is the sender. So since the object is the sender here, we're going to take the object as the sender here, and we're going to assign that to do-rect. Sender as type rectangle, because this is an object, but since we send it over to rect, we want it to be a rectangle. All right, and then so the next thing is, let's see, I forget what the next thing is. Do-rect. We need another event handler now that we have yeah, that's the click. And then that's sending. Oh, this was different. This was actually args. Wasn't args. Unfortunate for you, fortunate for me. Unfortunate for you. I do have this down where I could just look at it and I could just give it right to you, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to figure it out, and this might take me 5 minutes. It might take me 40 minutes, but I'm going to figure it out. So, all right. Rectangle clicked. Drawing objects. Alright, so this method here is to add all the rectangles that may currently be on the screen, add them all to the drawing objects. That's what we did, add them to the drawing objects. Well, they're already in the drawing objects collection. So we need to just add the, so this is what it looks like. All right, so when you, and this is going to show up here. I need to find one more. Let's see. Drawing objects event. Let's go to rectangle. All right, so we can go to rectangle and you go to methods. My drawing object class, methods, nope. Events, I'm sorry. All right, so under the drawing object class, so any of the drawing objects, your rectangles, your trend lines, your ellipses, all that stuff, it will have several events: clicked, moved, moving, or subgraph, resize. So we want to go to click. So we essentially want to, because as I know it, the click event does not necessarily have an event handler associated with it, right? So the clicked event will be something like rectangle dot click. You see that click there come up as a as an event. Then you got to do plus equals, and then you have to do your new method. Okay, so inherently, all these rectangles that are already in the drawing objects collection, they don't already have a method handler associated with the event. So you have to go in and force it to each one of those drawing objects to have a method handler event to be associated with its event. Okay, so that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. Okay, so so once begin, we're gonna have rect equals new rectangle, and then we're gonna have I guess you could do this as add recs. We're gonna have this as add recs and events, because that's essentially what it is, right? You're adding the rectangles and you're adding the event handler associated with being able to click the rectangle and it deleting. Okay, so add recs and events. Method void add recs and events. Begin end. So we need to have a variable so we can do the count for our index, so that we can make sure that we add all of the rectangles to the drawing objects collection. So for x equals 0 to and again, you're not really adding them to the collection because they're already in the collection, but for each one in the collection, you need to be able to access it so that you can assign a method handler to the event. So for x equals 0 to drawing objects, and the rectangle happens to be 8. Drawing objects collection of 8 is the enumeration. Dot at x as type. Well, actually we're just doing count here. Count -1 begin end. So we're going to take the I don't think we need to even do anything with the rectangle at this point. We just need to take what's in the, well, I think we do. Let's do this, because we need to assign whatever's in here to a rectangle object so that then we can modify the event handler. Okay, so to get it into a rectangle, we're going to have a rectangle, and then we'll call this rect1, and then so we'll say that rect1 is equal to drawing objects 8 dot at of x as type rectangle. Okay, so now you're storing the whatever rectangle you're currently going through the loop in. You're assigning that at that index of x to rect1. Okay, so now you're taking rect1, and now you can get the click plus equals what is going to be your event handler to allow for a deletion when you click on it. Okay, so now we need to call this like rect delete. Okay, and that's going to do that for all of these rectangles within this loop, and then it's going to stop. Okay, so now when it goes to rect delete, then how do you call for the object to be deleted? And I think that's up here. That's rect clicked. Needs to be rect delete, because it's sending this object, which is the rectangle, is sending this object up here, and then we're going to take this as a drawing object assigned to do rect, and then so do rect is equal to sender. I know that there's something off about that. Can't place my finger on it right now though. Rect1 plus dot click plus rect delete. Now we need to see what this dot click is, what arguments need to be available for this dot click to exist, to work properly. So that's where you go to the click, and then you go to drawing object click, and so this is the argument sequence. Drawing object events, which we have that up here. Okay, so drawing object, let's call that rect2. Rect2 is equal to the sender but I think this is actually args. Now see, if I were doing it myself, because I know I did it wrong, but if I were doing it myself, I would say, okay, well, rect1 dot click plus equals rect delete. Go up here to rect delete. I got a sender, and then the object event, we're going to say that I would say that from here we need to take the object and make that equal to the rectangle, and then drawing objects dot delete. So ultimately we need to delete whatever is in the whatever that rectangle is. And so once we do drawing objects dot delete, what the rect2 is has got to be equal to whatever you clicked on. So rect2 has got to be equal to args. I mean, rect2 has got to be equal to sender, the object that is sent. But it's not sender, it's something else. No errors on that, but I feel like something's not right. So let's go. Y2 delete. I don't think that's what I did earlier. Whoa. Okay, that seems to be working though, doesn't it? Except for if you draw a box. No, that worked. Okay, drawing boxes, drawing boxes, drawing boxes, drawing boxes. Okay, now when I go and I click on the box, deletes, deletes. That one did not delete. That one didn't delete. So it's only deleting the new boxes that I drew. And what that's telling me, wait a minute, some of these are older, aren't they? Okay. Are these the only the older ones? Okay, so it's deleting all the new ones. Well, now it's not deleting that one. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So clearly we got something off. So once I think I see part of the problem. So once we're going to do rect equals new rectangle, okay. And then we're going to do add recs and events. So we're adding recs and events for all the previous, all the drawing objects in the collection previously there, rec delete. But then also, oh, that's what it was. So this should work for all the older stuff, but then if we have something newer, we need to do drawing objects.added. So if you have a new object added to the drawing object collection, see here, drawing objects added, need to do this. So should we have a new drawing object added to the collection? I'm gonna put more recs. Okay, and then this is gonna be a method for the event handler, method event handler, or event handler method. Method void more recs. So this one will fire if you have newly added rectangles. This first one works if you have rectangles already on the screen. So if you have newly added rectangles, all you need to do at this point, okay, so this is the one that does the args. Interesting. Okay, so this is the one, because up here, remember I was trying to do like args dot something and it wouldn't work. Now this one down here will work for that. So I think you need a variable here also for another rectangle. We'll call it rect3 rectangle. Well, might need to be drawing object, but drawing object rect3, and then we're going to say that rect3 is going to be equal to let's see, watch this. Now when I do args dot, it gives me added object. So this is going to be the added object. Yeah, I really got to chew on that a little bit. I don't know if I added it as a rectangle or not. try it. As type rectangle. And then rect3 dot click plus equals, same thing we did here, plus equals rect delete. Boom, boom. All right. Now when you click on that, they all go away. So all the old ones go away. And then also, if you make new ones, you click on the new ones go away as well. Okay, guys, one day you're going to thank me for this. One day you're going to thank me for this. Okay, and it doesn't work for on vertical lines. It won't work on trend lines. Uh-oh. I actually got an error on that one. And I think it threw me into a loop. Okay, good to know. All right, see, doesn't work on that. Unable to cast objects trend line to systems.rectangle to system.rectangle. That's because we're trying to cast everything. Anytime we get a new object, added event, yeah. So anytime we get a new object, we're trying to cast that added object as type rectangle. So we could say something like if args dot get type equals, I don't know what the enumeration is here. Would it be get type rectangle? Where is the enumeration at for the type? Nope. Args.get type. Let's go here. Drawing object. I thought I was here. All right. Tell you what we'll do. We'll go over here. Add event args. Or yeah, add event. Args get type. Oh man, come on. Object.get type. Where are the numerations at? God, man. Yo, I'm tripping. All right, well, if I don't put the right thing in here, then it'll give me an error, and then it'll give me an idea of what I can use. Args.getType, hi, Jesus. Rectangle.type. I think that works. Nah, doesn't like that. Args.getType. It's not a member of that class. What about sender.getType? Oh, added object. Args.added object dot get type. There we go. Equals rectangle dot type. Okay. This is supposed to be easy. Yo, system.getType, getType, get base type. Yo, system.type. Let's go to args.added object. So your library can be your best friend. Just keep that in mind. All right. It's somewhere in here, guys, and until I get it figured out, just gonna have to forego this. So I don't know where the type enumerations are. Jesus, look at all these enumerations. Dang. Okay, we're not going to figure it out this way. Tell you that, 'cause I'm going to skip over it. Surely I'll skip over it. All right. Get type. Data type. Trend line. It's crazy. All right, so long and the short is, like I say, you just do that, and then it only works for your rectangles. But if you click on that trend line, it's gonna, all hell's gonna break loose. See, for your rectangles, turn that back on. Your rectangles, it'll delete any of your rectangles. So that works just fine. But if you click on the trend line, didn't give me any issues there, but it gives me issues when I draw the trend line. When I draw, as soon as I hit click, boom. Okay, now the script turned off and it gave me unable to cast type of EL system drawing objects trend line to the rectangle. So what it's trying to do is it's trying to, when you get where is it at down here? When you get a newly drawing object added, more rectangles? Nah, but it's not a rectangle though. So more rectangles is taking the sender and the added events, and it's assigning the this newly added object as type rectangle to rect3. So I think what I could do is I could just, I wonder, can I do this without assigning it as a type and just assigning it as an object? And then we don't have to assume that it's a rectangle or not, because it's not important for this part. The only thing that we're saying here is that we're taking an object and we're assigning the click event to a method handler. So we don't really need to assign this as a rectangle just yet anyway. So let's go back. Let's turn this bad boy back on and try drawing another trend line. Okay. No issues there. Now we can draw as many trend lines as we want to. Not getting any issues with the error log. Now I'm going to draw a bunch of rectangles, and then I can click on yeah. So that did turn it off. So it still works for my, oh, I know what it is. It still works for the rectangles, but it doesn't work. It gave me an error for the trend line, which makes sense because it's still getting hung up on the trend lines. Namely the new trend lines. So you get that every time you do a new trend line. Why is that? Because when you get a new trend line or a new anything added, it does go into the it goes into having a method event handler for the click, but yet when it comes up here to the actual method, it then tries to assign that object, which got a pass here, but now it again tries to assign it as a rectangle, and so it's having issues there. And that's why you want to use the get type, right? So if the type of object is a rectangle, then we want to do this. So if rect3 dot type, it gotta be a type, man. If rect3 dot get type equals, I'm just gonna put rectangle, then type dot rectangle, rectangle dot type, type dot rectangle. Nope, didn't like that either. Let's type in get type. I think I've typed that before though. Two T's. Object.getType. an object EOS system dot type my object dot get type. Again, you know, just when you think that that TradeStation has it kind of figured out and they can kind of help you with some of the basic stuff, they fall a little short. Fall a little short. Object class operators. Gets the type of the current object instance. What if I do this? That equals true. I don't think it's a true false though. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Tell you what. Hadn't planned on doing this, but let me go to the let me pull up this. Let me go to the site and see what he used for the get type part, because again it's not coming up like it's supposed to, which it's unfortunate. Well, what's unfortunate is that there's not any resources to assist with making sure that you know, are in the direction that you want to be going in. All right. I'm telling you, man. 11:15 still going strong or something like that. Dang. All right. He used is type. Instead of using get type, he used is type. All right, well, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so he said if rec dot, essentially if rec dot 3 is type rectangle. Well, it looks like it took that. Add the study back to the chart. All right, so we delete the rectangles. That works fine. That works fine for old rectangles. Let's add a rectangle. Those come on and they delete fine. Okay, if we tap on the trend lines, they don't delete, and we don't have any errors. Okay, now let's try drawing a trend line. Drawing. We're able to draw 3 trend lines without errors. And now let's try clicking on them. And I'm able to click on them all. And no errors. Yeah, so that works. That works just fine. So again, you know, if you, depending on what you want to do, and that's why I just did this for rectangles. I mean, of course, you got rectangles, ellipses, you've got trend lines, you've got all kinds of things. And so based on what you want to do, you need to modify your script to accordingly for whether it be rectangles or whether it be a different enumeration for trend lines. If you want to just target one type or another, then you might need to use is type and you know, part of your script. But yeah, is type worked fine there. Get type though, I can't seem to figure out how to make it work just right. So I don't know. Let's can I do this? Print rect1 dot get type dot to string. Nope, because it wants to do that. Okay. So now open that up. When I click on this, it's not going to do anything, but when I click on this, oh, well, I thought it would print it before it deleted it. Because this is, oh, this is for a new object being added. No, when I printed it, I went to add recs. So add recs was happened once at the beginning of the script, so I don't want it there. Trying to see what get type actually returns, and I can do that by setting it up in one of these methods. So rect delete, before it deletes it, no, once we click on something, let's then print what the object is. Oh, I guess I set it up to come up when you draw it. Only the rectangles though. All right, let's see where to put this at. So I put it print if you get an object added event, you're gonna assign the object to rect3. Oh, well, what? How come this isn't? This should be rect3. Okay. Okay, you see that time it says trend line. Let's draw the trend line. And then I don't know if we got an ellipse here. It says ellipse, trend line. So, but still though, I said that it should be equal to, maybe it should have been drawing objects.trend line. Instead of down here, remember where I was saying rect3 has got to be equal to, or rect3.getType has got to be equal to rectangle or something? Let's see if we can rewrite that. rect3 dot get type, which is what we were just looking at over there, equals, we'll say drawing objects dot rectangle. Nope, doesn't like that either. Okay, well, we gave it a try. We gave it a try. All right, so again, this only showed up after I drew it. Oh yes, because that's where this is at. This is only showing up once you draw it. If you want it to show it when you click it, then you need to put it in before you delete it. Because first it's going to assign and then very quickly it's going to delete. So if we put this right here, then it ought to let us draw it. And then once we click it, it's going to first print what it is and then it's going to delete it. Bye-bye. Oh, not verified. Rect3. Now this is rect1. The name of the variable changes every time you're in a new method. All right, but it's not deleting. It's not deleting anything but rectangles. Remember that. It's not deleting trend lines. It's not deleting ellipses. So when you click on those things, it doesn't disappear. But when you click on a rectangle, it should print out rectangle and then delete it. It didn't print it. Why not? Oh, and that's actually within the method too. Oh, well, that's why this right here is within. This right here is within the method. This is not the delete program. Delete program is the rect delete. The rect delete is here. So we need to put it up here. And we'll call it rect2. I'm actually going to redo this whole thing tomorrow because this is good stuff. This is really good stuff. This is something I've been kind of afraid of recently. This script is good. Okay. Box, 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 box. All right. Click it. It should print out rectangle and then delete it. Bam. Print out, delete it. Print out, delete it. Print out, delete it. Okay, now these won't delete unless you go through and do a separate measure. Woo, this is tough business. Now, the next thing that I was working on, I really shouldn't do this now, it's 11:25. But the next thing that I was working on was opening up the toolbox, going to charting hosts, and then going over here. Once we got charting hosts, and have a click on the screen, element click, initial, one key down, one key up. What is this? Key D, key up. So just find that it deletes when you click it, or this the delete is fine that it deletes when you click it, but we want to take it one step further. So we only want it to delete if we also press the shift button. So the shift button happens to be, we're going to do one key down. Key up. keys for keystroke, and then I'm gonna put false, and then if the key is up, what key? All right, sender args key up, args dot key equals, I think the 160 key is the left shift button. If args dot key equals 160, I think it was like this. Nah. That's object. Yeah, key equals 160. Left shift key 160. Args key equals 160. Then keys equals, this is saying that you have a keystroke. It's the left shift key, and it's a key up. And if it's a key up and it's 160, then we want that to be false. And if this is key up, and keys equals true. Truer. Alright, so this has got to be if keys equals true and wrong place. Wrong place, wrong time. Keys equals true. Correct, delete. Correct, delete. All right, no errors. All right, so that time, well, I drew the arrow and I clicked on it and it didn't do anything. Now I'm gonna hit the shift key and click on it and it's still not doing nothing, son. You understand what I'm saying? God almighty. All right. One of the things I think I need to do on account of what I'm trying to do is make this. Now I've got to make it a interbar persist to account for the changing of the BS or the keys variable within the bar. All right, so I'm clicking on that, doesn't do anything. Now click the left shift key, still doesn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know, this thing. Keys equal true. It's something about this though. I remember when I was working on it the other day, it's something about this. It can't be like args.key is equal to 160. It's got to be, watch this. post key. Post key, keys. If key args.key equals virtual key.page up. So I can try typing it that way. Left shift. How did they write it? Virtual keys enumeration. L shift key. What? Okay, keys equals false. Okay. All right, and then args dot L shift key. Virtual key dot L shift key. Program is so interesting, man. It really is. Args key equals virtual key dot page up. Ah. Nope. It's not what it liked. Args.key. Try this. Okay, so I hit shift and 4 came up, so that is working properly. Args.key is equal to 160, then keys is equal to true. So keys is equal to true. I think it's just because these can't coexist at the same time. Not within the method. It has to happen out here. You click on it. So I don't know if this method will work for this. This will be something I have to work on later, because you can't ask for it. You can't ask for the key to be depressed here, because this is just assigning a method event handler. Well, and this is within a loop. I mean, this isn't going to do anything. And then down here, you are assigning this method event handler, this event handler method, to this event, and this is kind of like a static thing. This just is being assigned, and it's just going to wait. It's just going to wait for you to actually press the button. Now, when you do press the button, like I said, now we're looking to see if keys is equal to true. The only other thing is I might be making it conflicting by saying key up is equal to false. So the way that this should happen now is when I depress the key down, it should say 4, and when I lift it up, it should say 5. Four, 5. Okay, so that works right. Okay, and so keys is being assigned as true when I press it down, and it's assigned as false when I lift it up. So keys is assigned correctly in through here. So like I said, if keys is equal to true, then you can delete the object. I don't know why it doesn't like that. So you see me hitting 4, I'm hitting the button 4, and then I'm hitting the rectangle. I'm not hitting the button 4, but I'm hitting the shift button. And that's why those numbers 4 are coming up. But it's not deleting the object. Tell you what, print 6. Now if it prints 6, but yet it's not actually deleting the object, then something fishy is going on. All right, so I hit the shift button, and then I clicked on the object, and it did not print 6. So it is not actually going into the, it's not going into this next, it's not correctly going into this method. But we can tell that it is going into the method because it's printing the type. See, it printed the type here. So it is correctly going into the method. It just can't process this keys equaling true while it's within the method. So that's interesting. Or maybe while we're in the method, we need to then call on the status. Can we do that? Can we call on the status of the key, whether or not it's still suppressed, still pressed or suppressed? Let's check that out. On key down, it's going to do this. On key up, it's going to do this. Let's see, host key event, arguments, flags, virtual, key previous state, true suppresses passing. No, I think that does something else. It suppresses the passing of the keys onto the platform for possible handling. I think that just prevents it from, like if you press shift or you press control or something like that, it prevents from going on to the platform to do some other command. So for instance, if you're going to press three keys all together, which you normally might do some type of hotkey combination, it won't do a hotkey combination if you use that suppression. Boolean. All right. The only other thing I can think of is if I do gets the previous key state. So the previous key state, if we press the shift just before we hit the click, it should return a 0 if the previous state was up, or 1 if it was down. So we wanted to show that it was pressed down just before we ran that method. Let's try that. Let's try previous state. If it's a 1, signaling that it was down. And then that's all I can come up with for right now. All right, so when we get up here, when we're in this delete method, we're gonna say, you know what? I don't think we can do it from in here, because we're within another method. We have new arguments. Argus is. Unless we passed it on. Let's try that. Instead of passing keys, which is a Boolean, let's pass keys, which is a 0 or 1. And if it's a 1, that means that it was depressed. So we're going to start off as a 0, which means that it was not depressed. And we're always going to reset it as a 0. So keys equals 0. However, if we are... No, because the depress has got to be called from here. Damn it, man. Yep. And we don't want to start it if we have the shift key pressed, because that's ridiculous to fire that every time. I don't know. I gotta come up with some other creative ways to get back into this delete box. But I do want to come up with a way to, now that I got this working so that we can just kind of click on this and it'll delete, I do want to come up with a way so that we can press a key and then make that work, make that delete. So I'll be playing with this later. So it's at least working like we said it was going to work. Like I said, we can draw our rectangles and then we can click on it and then it'll delete. If we click on anything else, an ellipse, triangle, or trend line, it won't do anything and it won't mess up our program. So guys, hope you got a little something out of it. Like I said, I like to ramble a little bit. I like to ramble a lot, actually. And it is now 12 o'clock. I'm sure my wife is asleep. Oh my God, I just... All right. Hey, I'm out of here. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.